The Joe Rogan Experience.
So it's either one or two things. You either pivot, find something you're good at and go that direction, or if you're willing to put in the effort, figure out how to get better at what you're not good at.
Right.
And then apply those things. Now, it's going to be hard. It's going to suck. You still may not even get to the same level or degree as somebody else who's naturally talented in that sense. But what's the alternative? You bitch about it and, like you said, complain.
Yeah. When I see people, particularly this happens when you see people who are not very good commenting on people who are successful. They start saying, this is one of the reasons why I could never make it, because the people that they're sellouts, or they're this, or they're that. And like, okay.
Yeah.
You know who doesn't leave comments like that? Winners.
This is so true.
That's the facts.
It's very true.
That's the fact. Dave Chappelle's not going on fucking Twitter talking shit about people. That's the facts.
That's
it's
true.
The people who are really successful are the ones who are analyzing themselves, looking at their own work, and keep moving. Doesn't mean you don't fail.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you don't fuck up. Doesn't mean you don't make mistakes.
Yeah. And the difference though is you do it publicly.
Yeah.
You mess up publicly.
Oh yeah.
And that's a lot to take in. And like even like when I remember when I was on Bill Maher and I was on the round table, I didn't think I did a good job. I don't.
It's fucking
I think,
almost impossible to do a good job in that goddamn round table.
Yeah. It was probably my worst showings. Now, for reasons that I think I went into it thinking I went into it like a lawyer. I thought I can go on, reason, and it'd be understand. I was outclassed because they had a great command of using emotion.
And clapping.
Well, there's that, yeah.
They're teachers. Yay! You got him! One on the board for us. Yeah. I don't think it's a good way to communicate. And I said it with Bill on the show, and he was trying to talk me into doing the show, and I think I agreed to it, but then I found ways to get out of it. This is why, man, talking one-on-one is hard enough. Like, you have a thought, sometimes you're expanding, and I have a thought, and I'm holding on to it.
Yeah.
But then you keep talking, and I don't know when to get it in there, and I lose it. Now, when there's three other fucking people, and they're all trying to get sound bites they're hoping are going to be on YouTube.
Yeah, it's all performative.
It is a lot of it. Yeah. A lot of it is performative. And then on top of it, it really is performative because there's a fucking audience there.
Yeah, you're right.
And they're all liberal, and they're all clapping and cheering, and they're all, and which they should be. They're his fans. There's nothing wrong with that.
There were a couple times I wanted to be like, I'd make a point, and I'm like, really? You're not going to clap?
It's a bad way to communicate in front of people like that.
Yeah.
It's one thing to perform if you're doing stand-up or singing a song or something like that in front of a large crowd. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But like having conversations in front of crowds, it's like
that's
a
a
weird
different animal, man.
Weird added element, and you're appealing to others to chime in and reinforce your thoughts.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Now, I will forever, ever, ever be grateful that he gave me the opportunity to go into that Lion's Den, because it's a place that I think a lot of pro-gun people haven't been able to go into. Hopefully I communicated in a manner that resonated with a lot of people. In the same way here. I'd be lying if I said I did not value the ability to have for the time being within this 2-hour, 3-hour space to have access to your audience. At the same time, because I don't understand why. I mean, I understand why, but I'm just passionate about this in a way that sometimes even I have a hard time articulating. And so when I see all of these new people, because I know your audience is very vast. Like, I have a base. There's a base in my audience, right? The gun people. And a lot of them very conservative. And with your audience, it gives me the ability to speak to a wider gap of people who would otherwise never even look in my direction because of what I talk about. And so and there aren't that many platforms that are available right now that are willing to open their doors to the opposite perspective. Because you're a smart guy, you know this. This puts you in a very peculiar situation. You can end up looking really bad because you're literally confronting and testing out all of your ideas in front of your audience that thinks that you know everything, right? And so many people aren't willing to do that because they're worried about looking bad, which is why I give mad props to Bill Maher as well, because there aren't that many platforms. Most people just want to sit in their echo chambers, yell at their audience and say, all right. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm hard pressed to think about any other type of platforms that may have a different perspective that would let me come on like this. And that's just me being honest.
Well, I think it's important to talk to people that have all sorts of different ideas. You know, there's the thing going on today where people talk about giving someone a platform. You shouldn't be giving them access to your platform. I'm like, well, what the fuck is the purpose of a platform if it's not to test out ideas? If it's not like, if you want to talk to someone, I mean, I'm not talking about someone like who's in the KKK or something. I mean, but talking to people that have controversial viewpoints, one of the best ways to sort those viewpoints out is to challenge them.
Yeah.
And in fact, there's a lot of people that would support a lot of, there's people that I've had on where I've confronted them on their ideas, and they lost a lot of fans because of it. Because these ideas now fall apart under scrutiny. Under someone who could talk to you for long periods of time and just go, okay, well, why do you think that? And then they say this and that, and then you go, well, where's that coming from? And then they say this and that, and then as you get deeper and deeper, you get to the basement, and you go, oh, this ain't shit. There's nothing in here.